I always say, hey, y'all. Hey, D. How are you? Thank you, Des. You got a new phone? Tell me about it. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong screen. Tell me about it. What phone did you get, and who's your new provider? So did you lose your old phone, or did it get broken? Hey, Florence. Aww. I'm sorry, D. How y'all today? That's a smart choice because you can keep your same Sprint network and pay a fraction of the cost. That's the same thing as going from T-Mobile to Metro or AT&T to Cricket. Okay, D, that's good. That way you don't have to finance it. I know they were trying to get you to do a contract. But Boost usually likes, like, they don't, I feel like the sister stores like Boost, Metro, and Cricket don't necessarily try to push you into a contract as hard as the bigger companies like AT&T. Oh, excuse me, AT&T, Sprint, or the other ones. Like, Sprint and AT&T will try to make you do a contract every time. That's what I have. I have a prepaid phone bill, and I like it. I mean, you can still get unlimited data, and it's just more cost efficient. See what I'm saying? That's about what I pay. I think I pay a little less, but if I upgrade it to the plan that includes Metro Unlimited includes a is it Amazon Prime or Netflix subscription? You wouldn't know because you have Sprint. But I think Metro has their unlimited plan that's $60, includes a subscription to Amazon Prime or Netflix for a year or something like that. So it's pretty cool. But Boost is good too. My stepsister uses Boost. Florence, are you still here? D, how you doing? I know I talked to you a couple days ago, and it was a lot going on. Any updates since then? Ooh, y'all, I'm sleepy. How much was your bill before? Hey, Jason. Wow. Say no more. You could actually be putting $100 of that into your home in your house fund. That's a lot of money. Was it just your phone bill for that amount? Jason, I'm tired. I'm going to try to stay on for an hour this time. I came on around 10, 11. I'm going to try to get off before 11:30. So I'm interested in purchasing an iPad. My mother-in-law has one, and I was using it for Josiah last weekend, and I liked it. But when I went on the Apple site, it looked like it's different ones. So how do you know? How do you find an older one with a home button? Because I don't have to have the newest thing. Like, I actually like having a home button, but I think I want one because they seem like you can do other things on it. I know some people like edit on their iPad and stuff like that. Oh, so you have to buy data to use it?
Or
An iPad. No, I don't want to pay.
yeah, you gotta pay for
So what's
it.
the point of having it if you gotta
I mean,
pay?
you have to have a network for it to operate on, unless you just operate it out of
Well,
Wi-Fi.
excuse me, y'all. I keep yawning because I'm sleepy. Um, I use my computer to edit currently, and I feel like it makes it take longer. But I have an iPhone now, and I don't like editing on iMovie yet. I haven't really practiced. Um, a lot of people say that they like editing on their Mac if they have a Mac computer, but I don't. I have Windows. See, I done changed. You've made me change my mind. I don't want to finance anything. Like even with the phone I have now, I don't plan on purchasing space. I just plan on using other stuff. Yeah, I was thinking Best Buy or Amazon Renewed because that's where I bought my phone. I guess I just need to practice. You know, I'm new to iPhone. I've only had my iPhone for like a month and a half at this point. So I've grown accustomed to just editing everything on the computer. And it takes a while, if especially if like my family is up and Josiah is up, because I have to listen to what I'm saying to cut correctly. So unless it's something really simple like a haul, which I actually do have a couple haul videos coming soon, those I can edit really quick. But if it's a me talking to y'all video, it takes me forever because I talk a lot, but also because I have to listen for parts that I don't want to keep into the video. So it's easy to miss it if you're not fully focused. So it takes a while. Oh, thank you, D. Okay, I'll look. I looked on Amazon a couple of weeks ago just out of curiosity and I wasn't seeing anything, but I'll try Best Buy first. Florence says she needs to purchase a computer. I recommend getting your computer at Best Buy and putting Geek Squad protection on it because that's what I did this last time. And I mean, my Lenovo is, this little sticker on my computer is peeling. But it's been a pretty faithful computer for the last few years. And I've had my Best Buy insurance on it. And then once it expired, they actually reached out to me to ask if I wanted to extend it again for another year. And I did. So, yeah, I mean, if something goes wrong with it, I could just take it over there to get service. Part of me is like, I want to kind of launch something that's going to make me some money before I start upgrading everything, buying a new camera, buying a new computer, buying microphones and stuff like that. I just don't feel like I need to do that yet. I'm glad to hear that you're I'm glad to hear that you're not in as much pain, but I understand it's still kind of difficult. And I think it's good that you went and hung out with your friend because that can help you get your mind off stuff, and that helps. I'm happy for Miss Kira too. I am too. If y'all didn't know, I've been sharing I've been sharing content that I watched that I liked, or sharing the successes of other people. And my friend Kira is monetized now. My friend here on YouTube, she sometimes is here in the chat, and she got monetized at the end of last week. So she's having a game night on her channel. If I could stop yawning, y'all, I'm so sleepy. I only got like 4 hours of sleep last night. But anyway, she's having a game night on Friday at 8:30. So I shared that on my community tab, and I plan on attending. Hey, cousin. I was just thinking about you. But yeah, she got monetized, and she should have already been monetized because she's has a lot of content and it's been getting views. But YouTube doesn't always make the ad things friendly. Wait, you're gonna cost where? Oh wait, I missed this. Yeah, you need to text me. Let me know if you're okay. Yesterday he took me with him to get a car, and he stopped at the store and said I was gonna see if I was gonna go to the salon next door. Oh, he paid for you to get them done and tip. That was sweet. Okay, I'm glad you're okay. There's something called StreamYard that everybody has told me to try, and Kira even asked me about this too. I think that that's an app that you can use within YouTube that will allow you to, yeah, text me more details, that will allow you to share your screen. But within the regular YouTube app from your mobile device, no, you can't share your own screen. Instagram is the only one that really lets you do it. Hi, Luna. Nice to meet you. I probably didn't get a chance to see your message on Instagram because I was trying to make up this space right here where I'm sitting and get Josiah situated because I wanted him to be resting. So, like, I know I was just texting, but then I put my phone down after that. Oh, okay. I didn't see it. Try to do a Kahoot night sometime on YouTube Live. Kahoot, is that the game that you play where you have teams and everybody texts in like a code and they can vote like A, B, C, or D or something on some questions? It's like a trivia game. If that's what you're talking about, I've played that before and that's really fun. I think that's the one you're talking about. Yeah, in school. Exactly. Okay, yeah. I like that. That's fun. It's interactive. So I think that's a good idea. I think the point of a live like is to just try to keep your viewers having fun because it's not like a video, so they can interact with you and they can ask you questions. So like if you don't have any questions, you just, you know, play games and that makes them stay on a little bit longer and play with you. So Kara was actually looking for some ideas of games to play. Maybe if you get a chance to let her know. Yeah, I would play. I like Kahoot. As long as I'm available when you're alive, I will go and play. That's fun. Kira was asking, I was like, you should probably tell her to try that too. I mean, I'm not trying to steal your idea or anything, but that's a fun interactive game. YouTube is like, the whole thing with YouTube is just make it fun. But as long as I'm available, I don't mind. Kahoot is fun. Games are fun, period. Okay, yeah, let me know. Hopefully it will be after work hours because I work during the day. But if it's at night, I probably can at least pop in for a little while. D, you so silly. I already knew when you said you were a busy woman that you was playing. not that you're not busy sometimes, but I was just like, she's being funny right now. I want to swing my leg without showing y'all my leg. Okay. Okay. Sounds pretty good, especially if it's on a weekend, like Friday, Saturday. Or really, boy, I just lied. Actually, weekday is better for 7 o'clock. Weekday. Weekend, I don't know. It just depends on what we're doing. I saw, and thank y'all whoever voted on my poll about when I should go live. Y'all, some of y'all was saying Sunday works. I think the majority of y'all was saying Sunday works. But then some of y'all were like, whatever day you want to do. So I'm just like, okay, I'll just keep doing whatever day I want to do. You're not an old lady. You probably just tired, you know? I'm really, really tired. But I wanted to come and talk with y'all because I really enjoyed talking with y'all Sunday. And my mother-in-law wanted me to tell y'all that she enjoyed y'all too. And that she will definitely come back again to live sessions and just talk with us. And I felt like it was a nice balance once she was there with her there period the whole time. But I know that sometimes when Des and I are on here by ourselves, um, we don't have like someone as a mediator, and it was cool to have her there like that. It's okay. She'll be back. She's Saya's favorite person, so um she visits us a lot, or we visit her. That live was on Sunday night. Sunday night, I went live around 9 o'clock, and we stayed on there until 12. My mother-in-law started getting sleepy around 11, so that's when she went off. Some of y'all was on there after she had already said she was finna go to sleep. But we talked about a bunch of things. I mean, it was a good conversation. Some new people popped in and they talked, and it was cool. I didn't realize you were babysitting that time. I think you did say that you were babysitting, but you were dealing with everything. I was so focused on what you were dealing with that I didn't think about the babysitting part until you just reminded me right now. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, don't be sad though. She'll be back. She really liked it. We filmed some videos together too, but I feel like I'm going to we want to rethink like what kind of videos we want to do together to make sure that they have the same impact as they did when we went live. Cuz I don't know. I need to redo my fitness journey cuz I've not been doing good with it. I have my gym membership on freeze because the kids club is closed, and I didn't feel comfortable with going back to the gym yet. Even if you can wear a mask and stuff, like y'all, I can barely take wearing a mask on my face when I go out to the store, let alone trying to exercise with a mask on my face doing cardio for like an hour because I do Zumba classes. Like, I don't know, I just want to be comfortable. Are you talking about Zoom? Yeah, I'll be ready to pass out. And I know that at my gym, that's what they're requiring. You have to have a mask. They're using a virtual thermometer to take your temperature before you go inside. And then they have social distancing tape inside of the classrooms. Because I went up there about maybe a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't know. It was on a Saturday. It was that Saturday that Desmond's mom took Josiah for the weekend. And yeah, it just didn't look like my gym anymore. I was still talking about going to the gym and how I don't feel comfortable wearing a mask because I start to get hot and uncomfortable with the mask on when I do regular tasks like the grocery store. So I know that if I started dancing at Zumba class, I would feel uncomfortable, like having trouble breathing with that on my face while I'm sweating and my heart rate is up. I don't know if I could do it. That's really good. Josiah does enjoy going outside and doing family walks too. So, I mean, maybe that's what we need to do. I just don't like being outside because I get hot. I don't like being hot. I've been in the South my whole life and I can't stand the heat. Hey, Kira, we were just talking about you. Congratulations on getting monetized, y'all. Kira is having game night on Friday. So, y'all need to make sure y'all go over to her channel and show her some love. It starts at 8:30. She's going to have games. Jason actually brought you up. He said congratulations first, but how are you today, Kara? I was telling them I'm not staying on as late today because I'm tired. So I'm probably gonna be getting off before 11:30. But I just wanted to check in with everybody and see how y'all were doing. I think it's also easier for me if the sun has went down too, or if I was a morning person if I went early in the morning while the sun was rising, cause I can't do the heat, y'all. I hate being hot. And that sounds stupid. That's the reason why I have a gym membership. Like, I don't like sweating when I'm not trying to work out. Like, if I'm walking to go check the mail or walking upstairs somewhere and then I feel like I'm sweating, like, and I'm like just in my regular day-to-day stuff, I don't like that. I like to basically pick a time where I'm choosing to be sweaty, which is my gym time. And then after that, I don't want to be sweaty. I don't know. You said you're hanging in there. Is there anything you want to talk about? Or she might just mean that she might just mean that's okay by that. But anything y'all want to talk about? Anybody want anything? I don't know. Y'all, I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling because I'm sleepy. I usually ask y'all, what are y'all thankful for? I guess D kind of told us hers because she was able to go to the nail salon. But you guys, what are y'all thankful for? I've gained some weight too. Oh my gosh. It's so sad because when I was right before the pandemic, I had lost 12 pounds in a month naturally. I cut out sugar, bread, and alcohol for a month. And I was working out 3 to 4 days a week and I lost 12 pounds. And I put on about 15 pounds. So I'm almost back at square one where I was at before I started. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get weight loss surgery, guys. I'm tired. Woo! Good for you, girl. I had to get my eyebrows done too. I got them done that weekend that Josiah wasn't here. You know, they had social distancing signs everywhere. It looked clean. I had my mask on my face. I went in there and got it waxed. I was so ready to get it done. Because they was looking kind of rough. And, you know, I don't get mine waxed often because I don't wear makeup. So, you know, for me to have went from February all the way to June, that's a long gap in between getting my brows waxed. I was this close to trying it myself, but then I had to remember that I make YouTube videos. So if I mess it up, then my YouTube videos are going to have funny looking eyebrows in it for the next month and a half while it grows back. So that's what made me leave it alone. I won't go get my feet done. I don't feel comfortable yet doing that. I almost did, but I was like, just do it myself. Ugh. I'm glad to hear that y'all are both doing better. Have you got your testing back? I know you mentioned that you did some last time we talked. That's not ghetto. That's talent. I wish I knew how to do my own brows. Oh, Lord. I seen some peach cobbler on the TV, y'all. That's a fat girl moment. I don't know. It might not work on here, the screen sharing. Are you using another app, Jason? I want to talk because I've been thinking about putting Summer's dad on child support. Not because he isn't helping, but because he recently moved and he doesn't want to tell me where he moved to. I was feeling chest pain too, Florence. Florence, Kira, y'all might have had bronchitis. Bronchitis is when you have a bad cough and chest pain. That's a symptom of bronchitis sometimes. And so, and the baby having a fever, that could be a few different things. But if the baby has a fever, you could try to break it with some Tylenol or ibuprofen, you know, for infant. If she's old enough to have that, I don't know. She could be teething. She could just have the flu. There's a lot of things that cause fever. Sometimes you don't have the flu and you still get a fever. If it make you feel better, Josiah had a fever once and he had an ear infection and he had a pink eye. So it's so many different things that can cause fever. I'm praying that your baby doesn't have it. I really am. And I'm sure she doesn't. If you don't have it and she's been around you, Oh, so she's had the cough and the fever. Okay. So your chest was hurting and you didn't have and you had a fever. I'm sorry, your chest was hurting but you didn't have a fever, and then your baby's um had a fever. Your baby Summer had a fever. That's what I was telling him, Jason. Not Jason, Kira. I was telling Jason to try StreamYard because you suggested it. No teething and yes, Tylenol. Yeah, it's hard when the baby has a fever. She be cranky and probably not keeping her food down, barely any type of appetite. That's hard to deal with for sure. Not resting, and she already a young baby, so they don't rest as much as we do. I hope you're getting some rest. It's hard to take care of you while you're taking care of the baby too once you're not feeling good. But to your question about the child support thing, um, oh, I didn't know that you couldn't show your face because you're a minor. I had no idea because there's so many like young YouTubers that make content. So you're allowed to show your face in a YouTube video, but you can't go live. That's interesting. Yeah, Florence, that's what I was about to say. Honestly, I would try to talk to him again. I know that you probably already have, but just let him know that you don't feel comfortable with not knowing where he is, or if he's going to be a consistent parent in her life. Part of having a successful co-parenting relationship is being able to know when the person's going to come through. Like, he knows he can rely on you. So you need to know that you can rely on him. And if you feel like you can't, because now he's moved away and he's not trying to cooperate and co-parent successfully, then you are going to do what's best for Summer. You're not trying to get him in any sort of trouble or anything, but your daughter would want to know where you are. So hopefully if you can explain it in a way like that, to where it's not coming off like you're bitter or concerned about him moving, but just more so concerned about the stability for Summer. Exactly. He could definitely disappear and you don't know where to find him because he doesn't have an address that you can work with anymore. That address is not valid. Now, if the address is his mother's address or a relative that's not going anywhere, then you can still have the mail go there, and eventually it will probably get to him because he'll be back. But if that was his address and he lived on his own, it's a little more tricky, and he probably will disappear. But I will tell you this: having him on child support will not guarantee that he'll help you. Some guys get upset when they're put on child support and they choose not to help anymore. That happened with me, honestly. Some guys will do the right thing because they don't want anything to happen to them as far as getting locked up or getting their license suspended and things like that. So, I mean, that's a hard situation to be in. Hey, Des. Des. Are you asleep? I need your male advice on something. I'm going to ask Des because he's a guy. He can give a guy perspective on it. I thought you said you weren't asleep. Florence, hold on. Let me reread the initial message. I've been thinking about putting Summer's dad on child support. Not because he isn't helping, but because he recently moved and he doesn't want to tell me where he moved to.
Okay.
And then we gave our opinion, and then she just said, after we gave our opinion, he's upset because when I was pregnant, I came to his house, but that was only because he was ignoring me.
Okay. So what's the issue?
Well, what do you think? Oh, and that he says if I put him on it, he'll pay, but he won't be in our baby's life.
So
What's your opinion or your advice from a guy's perspective?
um, it's not gonna come out very well, but he literally just told you
Des
everything.
wasn't asleep. He was just in the closet being antisocial.
No, I'm tired, and I'm sure you don't be laying down and stuff on your live. So I was trying to be considerate.
I
And I,
asked you if you were sleeping. You said no.
right, I'm not asleep, but I'm in there laying down because I'm tired, and I don't want to do it on screen because you know it doesn't look good.
They
I was
can't even,
trying to.
but they couldn't even see you.
I
You could have just said, "I'm trying to rest." That's what is that? Oh, okay, never mind. I didn't
it's
know you was trying to rest. You didn't
um
communicate. He wasn't
basic
asleep though, Florence. Sorry.
basically
He's gonna stay up anyway because I'm not gonna stay on all night today.
in a way he kind of just gave you your answer. Um,
That's
I
why I said
mean,
let him say because I don't know how
you
guys think.
could, I
Who
mean,
knows?
you can. I guess the whole thing of it is if he's consistently doing his job as a parent, meaning he's supporting and helping to the best of his ability, it's kind of like, well, what? Well, I guess I want to know why do you want to?
She told me to leave you alone because you're
No,
tired.
it's fine. I can answer this question. I guess the
Excuse
whole
me.
question would be, um, if he's doing his job, is there a certain reason why you want to know where he is? Or is it just like so you can kind of keep up with him and understand if something happens where to find him? Or I guess that's the main question.
Florence said, "Thanks for your advice."
Oh,
Like in advance.
oh, okay. Um, I guess that would be the whole question. In a lot of ways, it sounds like he's kind of giving you his plan of action ahead of time. So I guess you can't be surprised. More than likely, from his mindset is like, well, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and I'm like,
Hi.
it's he's kind of probably feeling like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, but I don't want you to just like pop up on me, I guess, because I mean his I don't know if his dating situation is different or just his life situation in general is different, but I'm sure he just wants you to he probably wants to have it
Okay,
situated to where
Jason.
it's like you kind of have to have a phone call and a heads up before something happens rather than just somebody popping up on you.
It doesn't
That's
sound like they're together. And I remember when she was pregnant, she was saying that she didn't really want to be bothered. So
and
without that backstory, I mean, if you feel like
well
giving the backstory, Friday doesn't work for me because I'm gonna be at Kira's event.
and I guess that's some
Recently, his phone was off, and I got nervous. Like, what's happening? Is he ghosting us?
I don't know if he's necessarily ghosting you, but
I mean, I can
if
understand how that could feel frustrating if you're trying to communicate about the baby and he's not answering. It's
he
because y'all have y'all phones in your hand all the time, and it
yeah,
shouldn't take more than a day for a response.
that's understandable.
And especially with, and she just said her. Well, I don't know if you weren't listening, but her
I
baby
was
is
listening.
her baby is sick
I know.
too.
I heard.
So like that's also a thing. Like it's not necessarily, you know, her
Yeah,
also just wants tabs, and maybe like she's trying to tell him, hey, we just tested for COVID, so you know what's going on, or hey, hey, she's been having a fever for the last 3 days, so he knows. And if he's not responding, Tuesday should work, Jason. If he's not responding, then that can make her feel scared. And then with everything that's going on in the world, she could have thought something happened to him too.
I understand, but you just can't. You
So it's
can't.
like it's
But
kind of like
as
a
a
disrespect thing.
well, I mean, and that's probably what he's thinking on his end too. Like, if he doesn't answer the phone and y'all are not together, it doesn't automatically give you the okay to like pull up on him unannounced.
Well, she did that while she was pregnant. That wasn't recently.
Oh, okay.
He
Well, that's
moved.
different.
He moved from that address, and he didn't. He won't tell her where he lives now.
That's this is not gonna sound very nice, but I mean sometimes it happens that way. Um, and he probably did it for a reason because he doesn't want that to happen again. It's something
Well, that's
that
exactly
you
what
keep
she
in.
said. He
Yeah,
said. So we
yeah.
supposed to just take that what he's saying is it?
Well, here's the thing. What other reason do you not have to take it as that?
She
It
said, I'm not popping up, but I was worried that the phone is our only way of communication.
well, I mean that's
I mean, if it
understandable, but
makes you
from
feel
a
any better, that's kind of how it became with my relationship with Josiah's dad. Like, I don't need to know where he lives or where he is. I actually, he doesn't know where I live, but I actually know where his mom's house is, and they moved from where we were when we were together. But I didn't feel comfortable with him where I stayed because of his inconsistencies.
well,
I
I
have no
mean,
problem meeting him somewhere, or that he didn't have a problem with me going over there. He's met Des and all that type of thing. His mom, she'll text occasionally to check in and stuff. Sometimes it's more one sided, but she does. But I keep them over there. So, and maybe he in some way might feel that way towards you because of how the pregnancy went. I don't know if y'all had a bad breakup. I don't know how y'all got on kind of like not together terms, but it can make someone treat you different.
well, yeah. I mean, from the
And that's a
sound.
good question, Kira. Do you have a relationship with his family members? Like his mom or grandma, somebody who has interest in the baby as well that you could probably meet up with if need be, and then they would make sure.
I mean, from the sounds of it, it sounds like he kind of just whatever you guys' situation is now. If it's kind of working, it sounds like that's just where he wants to leave it. He doesn't really want his whereabouts known, just in case he does whatever he wants to do. And I mean, in a way, he's entitled to it, but you're also entitled to what you're doing as far as being concerned because your daughter does have two
And my baby
parents.
daddy doesn't know where I live either, but we don't talk at all. I go through his mom and sister only, and I have no respect for a deadbeat. Girl, I was reading it, reading it in my professional voice, and I didn't expect to read the last sentence. It's me throwing a bottle at you. No.
And that's like it gets complicated. It really does, and you see it a lot. But it's kind of like
I mean, you never think that the person you have a baby with will become someone that you can't even like go to their house anymore, but it happens. Oh, no one on his side has interest in the baby. Okay. That's unfortunate.
yeah, it's very unfortunate.
I feel like children deserve to have experiences with both sides of their family. But
Well,
it's hard when the couple that made the baby don't stay together. Um, it's real hard, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
yeah, I mean,
Not only does it help you, but it helps them too.
I think, I mean, the only thing you can really do is just guess just try to use the phone if you can, or if you have an email address or anything like that. Just try to keep as much communication as possible. I can't say that I won't suggest child support because it might be a necessity, but like Yosha was saying earlier,
Oh,
the
sorry.
reaction itself
I feel like if he told
maybe
you that he is not gonna be a part of her life, he might mean it.
it's not a might. He does mean it.
I mean, to me that's selfish though. But at least he's saying he'll take care of her, even though he doesn't want to be in her life. It's not her fault. She didn't ask to be here, so I don't feel like that's fair to your daughter. But
But
I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't there if that's what he's telling you.
from what it sounds like, his disdain is not towards the daughter.
Why is this the same towards Florence though? We were never really together. His dad knows about Summer. His dad knows about Summer, but his dad doesn't. Even think Summer's his grandchild. Oh.
So it becomes.
So what about paternity testing then? If that helps make them feel more comfortable about it.
Well, if you don't.
Well, if you do child support, there will be a paternity test requested anyway.
Well,
but
depending on how their child support laws work, because everybody's not like Georgia.
oh well, here in Georgia,
Yeah.
if you initiate a child support request, they will serve the gentleman, and then the gentleman will be required to appear in court and do a paternity test.
And you also understand.
And if he avoids going to court and they serve him again and he still doesn't go to court, then they'll automatically serve him. That's how it works here. That's how it worked with my case.
I know in your case, I still
in
don't
my county,
yeah,
in this county, because that's where both of us. Well, that's where he resided at the time.
Right, but I still and that's
Fulton County might be different. I don't know.
No, that's Georgia law. That's what I'm saying. I didn't understand. Well, that's something for off after.
But yeah, you. I mean, I can't explain it, but that's the truth. Like they serve them.
And you have to, and that's the one thing you have to get.
Am I frozen?
You have to get them served. That's.
Am I frozen? I understand you would like to know of his whereabouts for the sake of the baby, but if he don't have the decency to let you know, you can see me, Jason. Okay, cool. If you don't have the decency to let me refresh, y'all. Honestly, you guys, I left my religion to be with this person, and I got pregnant after like 2 months. Oh shit! I didn't mean to do that. I got pregnant after 2 months. Me and Summer's dad have known each other for like 6 years. Oh, okay. If he's doing his part but not telling you his location, I wouldn't be too bothered, because if you need to put him on child support, they will do his job at locating. They will do the job of locating. I think that's what she's saying.
No. Well, it depends. Not always.
Well, if he has a stable job, they will be able to locate him at work. If she has she knows his social.
It depends though, because it depends.
Don't come in here.
When I know from the
way
you
have to use the bathroom.
I know from the way it worked. I
just have
to. Hurry
Go
up.
use your bathroom.
Right. Hurry up. Go use your bathroom.
Go ahead. If you pee on my floor, we're going to have a whooping on camera. Go use the bathroom downstairs.
I mean, essentially...
My internet's not working right. You remember when I wanted you to wash your hands and you want to act crazy earlier? I told you don't come back in here.
So
go use the bathroom. Go use the bathroom.
Go with your son.
I'm on camera and you just wasting my time. Shut the door.
So, I mean...
Go in there and shut the door and use the bathroom.
In the different... I know for different states, different things.
My internet acting funny.
When you're filing, close the door, Josiah.
That's why I didn't want you to come in here. I said go use your bathroom.
When you're filing for different things.
Damn.
Yeah, when you're filing for different...
My son been being hard-headed all day. That's why I'm tired.
When you're filing in different counties, it kind of works different ways. When you file at a job, sometimes you have to go change the county you're filing in to reflect the county that the person works in. So it kind of gets...
it's the same law.
Yeah, so it can get different. It can become a really, really, really big thing.
He's self-employed. Okay, Kara, look, I'm going to tell you from experience, don't mess up a good thing. If he already helping you,
Yeah.
Just let him do what he wants to do. If you done
Yeah.
with him anyway, don't worry about where he is and all that. If you
Just
don't hear from him for a certain period of time, like a couple of months, then at that point consider the child support. But if you're hearing from him consistently and he's paying money to help you, leave him alone, because self-employed people and people who make money under the table are hardest to get money from on child support. And I say that because they can play the system and act like they are unemployed, which will make child support serve them an amount that is really low. And that amount may be much lower than what he's already giving you. And if he is upset with you because you put him on it, he may not give you anything extra. Since you put him on it, he may decide, okay, well, the court said I only have to do $200 a month, so that's all I'm gonna do. And let's say he giving you $400 a month, you gonna lose $200 because you put him on child support. Honestly, it's not fair. But at the end of the day, I feel like everything happens for a reason, and karma happens as well. Not to say that, it's bad on your baby's dad or nothing, but you have to answer to somebody for the things you decide to do. Whether you believe in God or not, he's going to have to answer to his daughter at some point in her life when she's old enough to understand and has her questions for why daddy wasn't there. Excuse me, if he goes missing and chooses not to be involved. I think the issue a lot of times with pregnancies is that, especially when you're not married, and I'm speaking from my experience, when I was pregnant, my family and my friends were in my ear with their opinions, and it was very influential. The same thing happens with the baby father. The mom is all in the ear. The dad is all in the ear. Make sure that's your baby. I don't know how you even know that's your baby. Friends might be saying the same thing. It can be really, really toxic to a relationship. And I don't know your history, and I don't know everything that happened with you guys while you were pregnant, but I'm pretty sure there's other factors that may have caused y'all to get to where y'all are right now. So at the point that y'all are right now, y'all aren't together. Just let him do what he's doing, because it isn't your concern. That's the hardest part. That was the hard part for me. Like, I felt like when I was co-parenting with my son's father before, I just was like, forget it. I could try to tell him when to do it and on my terms, and you need to do this, and I da 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 or whatever. Only thing that I felt like I should still have control over is the safety of my son. Like, I didn't want my son everywhere. But still, with that, it's like if you release your son to him or your daughter to him, then at that point he can decide what he's going to do and who he's going to have him around. So that's where you have to decide if that's going to be a safe environment or whatever. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that you can't control how often he talks to you. You're not his girlfriend anymore. So you can't make him check in with you every week at this time, da 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 da. Like, your life doesn't revolve around him anymore, so you don't have to necessarily make it convenient for him, but he don't also have to make it convenient for you.
right.
Because you don't revolve around him. Or is that the right way?
He
Summer should be a factor, but
he
you
doesn't.
don't necessarily
Well,
revolve around him.
in the simple way of putting
Sometimes
it,
he goes
he
days without
doesn't.
talking. He doesn't give any money, but he brings things when Summer needs it.
Yeah,
Okay,
he doesn't.
so that's on you to determine if you need more, but maybe try to have a conversation. I think, okay, well, to be honest, in co-parenting, you don't have to talk every day. But I think that if you need more than just the items, then that's where you need to talk to him and see if he can give more than just items that she needs.
Well, are you telling?
Because at some point, she's gonna outgrow the need for formula and diapers, and she's gonna need other things, whether it be clothes, shoes, daycare expenses. If you're not working for yourself, if you're not self-employed, then you're gonna need money for her to go to daycare so you can work. So it's like, I think a conversation about that would be good. And if he's not open to it, then him dropping off formula or diapers, wipes, that's good, but it's not going to be enough.
Well, here's the mindset of a guy. Here's what he's doing. He's giving you what she needs. He's not putting money in your hand because he's not obligated to.
He shouldn't have the leisure. I'm just reading. He shouldn't
Yeah.
have the leisure of just showing up when he wants to be bothered. though. I don't know. I agree I don't. I agree. I both don't have to talk daily. Honestly, we were fine until I got pregnant. Then it's like I became a turnoff, and he didn't want to be in a relationship, but he wanted to help with the baby. That sounds like a lot of what Dee was saying. Her boyfriend was saying at the beginning of her pregnancy.
because you don't realize.
Dee ain't
Well,
even on here no more.
well,
I dated
here's
Dee.
here's the thing, and y'all would probably be mad at me for saying this, but this is facts amongst guys. Women are a handful to deal with in general. So when you're naturally a handful to deal with, and then on top of that you become pregnant, you become that much more of a handful to deal with. You become a little bit moodier. You become a little bit more emotional. And here's the thing: guys don't have the leeway to say what they truly want to say, because now, oh well, the baby, you can't do this because I'm carrying a baby. Oh, you can't do this because that's hyper masculine or it's rude. So when you're starting to already, you're having certain issues and you can bite your tongue, but now it's getting worse and you're really starting to bite your tongue, it does become a turn off to certain guys. The whole thing is, how long are you gonna sit in and endure? And if kind of like the way y'all say certain stuff, if I've said it before, then I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Or women, oh, I shouldn't have to repeat myself when I say da 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 because I know you hear me when I say other things. It's the same thing for guys. Y'all, women hear when guys say certain things, but it's almost like until we raise our voice or we just flat out stop speaking, then it doesn't get addressed all the time. So
Hmm.
if he was already, like I was same thing with D, if he was already upset about certain things and that became another one, it sometimes becomes the straw that breaks the camel's back, and you don't want to deal with it anymore. And once you realize that you don't have to deal with it anymore,
I mean, that's
then
hard though, emotionally, babe.
yeah, well, you don't think it's hard for him?
I don't know if it's quite the same level of hard. I won't say
How
it's
not?
not hard, but it's like
How not?
she has to go through all the physical endurance of carrying a baby with somebody that told her that she doesn't want to be with him anymore, and she that he doesn't want to be with her anymore, and she doesn't necessarily feel the same way because she's
So
in love and she has the pain and physical part of having a baby, and it starts turning into resentment. So, and why exactly? Why does it always come after
it's
pregnancy?
not
Like
after.
for women, I
It's
feel
not.
like women, their realizations come after pregnancy and delivery, but not usually during pregnancy. Hey, Sakon
It
talks.
it doesn't come after pregnancy.
But that's what
The
you were just saying.
no,
That
I'm
that's the final
no.
straw while she's at the beginning of the pregnancy.
Right, but that's
Because
what I'm.
that was
But
the
here's the
two
thing. That's not the.
instances with
Right, but
D
that's not the. But
and with hold on. The topic is Florence. We're kind of talking about the situation with her baby's father because he moved and he won't let her know where she lives, and she was saying she was considering putting him on child support, and and I'm sorry, I blanked out a
so
second. What was I saying?
basically he
But that's what we're talking about. We've been on.
basically,
I've been on since about for about an hour.
but yeah. So what I was saying is that that's not the realization.
And wait, Florence said, and I don't have a lot of help from family and friends. And no, I'm not the girlfriend, but I need to know if you're available in case of an emergency. Example, the other night when my chest was hurting and I wanted to go to the ER.
I could play a terrible bad guy right now, but it's not gonna help. But back to what I was saying, it
I
didn't.
mean, but I guess from her perspective, if y'all have had a baby together, you think that you have some sort of love or respect for each other to where if you're in an
No,
emergency, you'll come.
no,
But I mean, that's
no.
probably how she
I
feels.
know, but that answer is no.
Though that
His
sucks.
obligation. So here's the thing: when you're no longer together and you have a kid, his obligation is to her daughter, not to her. What we are right now
Well,
is
what if she's saying that she needed him to get her so she could go to the hospital, but she can't contact him?
how. Okay, so
That's
here,
not what she said, but
I understand.
that's part of the that still is part
Here,
of the obligation at
here's
that point.
here's my thing. Not my problem. The
How is that
baby.
not the problem?
Hear
If the
me.
mom is saying her chest
Hear
is
me
hurting and
out.
they won't let her bring
Hear
the baby
he,
to the
hear
ER.
me out. Not his problem, and the reason is she has the baby. She has the baby, meaning the baby's in her possession. If he had something that he had to do, and for a chance he had the baby, it wouldn't be his obligation to call Florence to come get the baby. His obligation and responsibility as a
But why
parent,
wouldn't it be?
because at your job as a parent, sometimes you got to figure it out, and it's not for you to call the other parent at the drop of a dime just
I
because you're
disagree.
inconvenienced. It's
Hey,
that
Erica.
it doesn't it sounds bad,
It
but it
sounds
doesn't
horrible.
but it doesn't always work like that, because the thing is that's just not his obligation. If you going through some
I
stuff, and I
disagree.
understand, and most people
Not
are gonna
about
disagree.
the part about her, but the part about him. If an emergency happens to the mom and she's the parent and she can't physically get the child, the next person they're going to call is dad. And if dad is not available, whether the emergency is because of Summer or Summer's mom, he needs to be reliable as that other person. If he doesn't answer, then it would be the next contact
It
on the
all
list.
it also
It's kind of like when Josiah had something happen at school. They called his dad, and then they started. Well, then they were supposed to call my dad, your mom. You get what I'm saying?
I get
So
exactly
it's
what you're
like,
saying.
even though they're not together, that you're the father, so you have the responsibility if something's going on with the mom. Even with the show I watch on TV, Mama June, the mom is doing drugs and all this stuff. Her sister has her, but technically the father has rights before the sister. So that's kind of where I think of it if it's an emergency like that.
I
Not that he should be there for her, but if you are having pain and you're in the hospital or you rush to the hospital, you're not going to be able to stop what you're doing. And you're not going to be able to stop what you're doing and take
I
the baby with you. So I
I
think that's where Florence is coming
I
from.
understand completely.
And hold on, she said, and it's not like I don't want to wait for an emergency for him to have to watch Summer and I don't know where he lives. But he would call the man, the man would call ASAP and expect you to change your whole plans from experience. Man, that's happened to me before too, honestly. Who lives with and where you're taking my baby? I get your concerns, Flo. So it's like she wants to know where he is already so she can ensure it's a safe environment.
So here's the
But
thing.
if it's
If
an
it's
emergency and it's the first time they're meeting, she don't even know where the baby is because she ain't
but
never been to his house.
that's not your right to know that. You're not listen.
If we weren't
No,
together, we had a baby, and we weren't together,
listen. Okay,
you would not want to know where your baby was.
I would, but hear me out, because now what you're doing is you're starting to look at it emotionally. Hear me out on this one thing. Where he stays, it's not always gonna be baby proof. It's not always gonna be baby sensitive. Why? Because most of the time he don't have who? The baby. He's looking at what's cost efficient because he works for himself.
I don't know, babe. I get
And
you, but
like what I'm telling you is from the thought of a dude who already is not the primary custodial parent. You're not everything that a primary custodial parent thinks about, the other parent does not. Because 9 times out of 10, you don't have the child anyway. So you're not gonna make the same concessions as the majority time parent. That's just not gonna happen. And then if you're saying it's an emergency, if it's that much of an emergency, I would think that if you're saying you need him, you would go ahead and try to make and just hope and pray and da 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 da. But if what you're saying is you're not gonna do that, then it negates the whole argument.
mm.
It negates the whole argument. If you're saying, hey, she's not safe, but it's an emergency, and I'm still not gonna leave her with you because I don't think she's safe, then why are we bringing up the conversation in the very beginning? Because you're not gonna think she's safe. So basically, what you're telling me is you want to know where I live, even though you don't think it's
No,
safe.
thank you for tuning in, Erica. She said I'm late, but as long as you can see it's baby proof and you can FaceTime, you don't need a physical address.
There you go.
Yeah, because you did. That's right. I don't know why I didn't think about FaceTime or video chat.
You have
Because you did
Zoom.
say
You
y'all
have
talk on the phone. So, I mean,
you got Duo.
you could
You have
kind
a
of
lot of
peep it
different
out on
things.
FaceTime and just say, hey, let's FaceTime with the baby. But you know, you do your thug thistle and be a little nosy at the same time and try to see what's in the background while the baby's on the camera FaceTiming. But I get your concern too, because I mean, you just have to trust that he loves his daughter enough to not put put her in an unsafe situation. I have let my son go with his dad. Not recently, but that's because he's been absent. But I have let my son go with his father for a couple of hours, the weekend, etc. I mean, he loves Josiah. He just irresponsible at times. I know that don't sound right for me to say, but it's the truth. But he wouldn't let Josiah get hurt. I know that much. I know that much. And once I stop trying to control what he does or expect him to do certain things, like, I guess one thing I can tell you is to expect nothing. Because if you stop expecting things from him, then you won't keep getting disappointed or frustrated. Because he's not your partner, so you can't really require him of anything. Um, I mean, you can require certain things for your daughter as far as her safety and as far as what he should do for her. And if you feel like what he's doing on his own is not enough, then that's when you may make that decision to involve the courts. But if he's already stated to you that by doing that, he's not going to be in her life, he probably means it. I'm sorry, let me just read what they said. I get it. Sometimes for the parent, it's a mindset thing of giving their ex their address, which is, I think that's, well, earlier we were saying that, earlier Florence said that he didn't feel comfortable giving it to her because when she was pregnant, she showed up at his house without announcing it. So that kind of goes into what you're saying. And then Kira says, I understand where Flo and Des are coming from. I've heard the cases of women letting their kids go with the father and the girlfriend do something with the child and doesn't return. We have an intuition, so if you know he would make sure Summer is straight, that's all that matters. And Erica said, oh yes, once you start expecting this crazier happiness comes back and you become at peace. Yeah, so I mean, I get it from both sides. I'm not trying to preach to you as if it wasn't hard for me when my baby was young, because it was not. Like, we went through it because, like, he was living his best life. I felt like he was living his best life every time I was dealing with something with Sire being sick or something. I had to figure it out, like Des is saying. And then Des came into my life when Josiah was, what, 1 year old?
Oh, 1 year.
Josiah was 1 when Des came into my life. So we were just kind of friends when we met. So he kind of saw some of it. But then we kind of started dating and he got to see more of it. But it was like a lot of times when I thought I could rely on him because I thought we were good enough to be friends, he let me down because he didn't care. He did not care about me and what I needed him to do. He just cared about himself, And that's what people do when they get out of a breakup. They start caring about themselves. They start doing what's best for them. They don't care about who they hurt in the process because they're single, and that's kind of the mindset. And once I had the same mindset, and I didn't care and I wasn't trying to force it and I wasn't trying to make it convenient and, check tabs with him and I went on with my life, at that point is when he started to try to pursue me harder. But by then I didn't care no more. I was just like, look, this is what I decided to do. I was trying to work with you. It didn't work out. I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. We could co-parent, but I'm not going to go out my way. I'm not going to hurt. I'm not going to, like, what's that saying say? I'm not going to something.
I don't know.
I'm not going to, like, burn something. You know how you try to help somebody, but you killing yourself trying to help them? Like, I can't do that anymore.
But he's already, and I'm reading the comments, if he's saying that he doesn't want to see the
I'm not sure. Hold on. I'm not sure.
And
I will address it. Let me get concerned and what I can do about it. Child, understand where you come from. Let the courts handle it. We do expect them to be at least friends. Yeah, we do be expecting them to be friends, but it just doesn't always be that way.
A lot of times it doesn't work that way because of the way things are voiced, and
but sadly, it's not the case.
and sometimes it comes off as a demand. Rather, you don't demand things of your friends, but
I
when
mean,
you,
I'm not even trying to demand. I would just say I need more help, and
but it also depends on
I
how
need
you
more.
say it.
I need more help from you because I can't afford it. And see what he says. That's the truth. I mean, a box of diapers is great, but that's not the only expense for taking care of a child. And co-parenting, I mean, I wish I would have had the co-parenting side of being able to just drop some money and I felt like it in an amount that I said I wanted to drop and then go live my life for 2 weeks or 3 weeks and call and check in on FaceTime for 30 minutes. Oh, what a joy. You're a single person, basically. You don't have a responsibility. Like, where I don't really hear a lot of parenting situations where it's like, I have one friend, actually. I have one friend, that a childhood friend, and he got this girl pregnant that was also a mutual kind of childhood friend. And he was the only guy I knew of that had a co-parenting situation in which he actually had his daughter for 3 days, and his mother and their daughter's mother had the baby for 4 days, and they lived in the same county, so it was real easy. And it was a baby, so it wasn't like they were in school. But regardless, my point is, he worked a 4 by 10. So on the 3 days when he was not working, he wanted his daughter, and he contributed diapers, wipes. You need money for something for my daughter? Let me know. That's the only friend I ever met that kind of had that type of co-parenting situation. I also know one other guy that actually had like almost full custody of his daughter, and the mom was actually like the deadbeat mom, and she wasn't really there. Every other person I know, it's kind of like the father gets the daughter occasionally, or the son occasionally, one weekend out the month, or one or two weekends every other month. It's not a consistent time. They talk on the phone, they might give money, but it's not like you have to figure out your apartment if it's going to accommodate two. You have to figure out your job hours based on your daughter's school hours or your daughter's daycare hours. You have to miss work because of your daughter. You get what I'm saying, y'all? Like, I don't see that parenting situation a lot.
Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because that's not the way people look at parenting. Ladies, I'm gonna say it like this: y'all want to be looked at as the ultimate caregiver, and you want to be seen as at times the ones who receive child support. And the way parenting is set up, it's set up more so for women to have more parental rights. So when you set it up for women to have more parental rights, what's gonna come with that 9 times out of 10 is also custody. And 9 times out of 10, the courts are gonna want the mother to have more of the custody. It's gonna be y'all having more of the parent and y'all being more inconvenienced. That's 9 times out of 10 what it's gonna be because that's the way it's always been set up. So you can't be.
But the father can step up and say they want more
But
time if the mom
here,
agrees to it
but
too.
most of the time women don't agree to it in the beginning. It's
Well,
not
if
until
my baby's
it's not
father,
until
hey
after
Kim,
it's not until afterwards
I
after
hate begging. I just let it go and literally ask God to carry that weight He left on me. I cut off all ties, no more. I choose to be the best mother and not ruin anything for my child because of a bad mistake. That's a bit much, but her father is not mentally on the level I had to leave him where he wanted to be left. I promise you, life got so much better. Kim, that's kind of what I had to do too. Yeah, you can still live with 1 week on and 1 week off, um, and you're not as tired and angry. Like, I hate to tell y'all, but I'm gonna be transparent. At times, I get angry because I'm always the one here dealing with Josiah in all states of Josiah. I used to get frustrated with his dad because his dad always looked like the super parent. Like, Dez is the super parent too, but not like my baby's father is. And I say that because my husband and I have to discipline my child. My husband and I have to see Josiah throw temper tantrums. My husband and I have to deal with Josiah wetting the bed when he wets the bed, having nightmares when he has nightmares, having his moments where he's acting out at school or just being hard-headed. And don't get me wrong, my son is smart. He's a sweetheart. And he has a lot of potential to be great in so many ways. He's creative. He's athletic. He's smart. He's smart beyond his years. So don't think I'm saying I have a bad kid, but it's a lot. And my my child's father can pick him up for a couple hours and take him to Chuck E. Cheese, take him to the park to go feed the ducks, take him to go do something fun, and then give him back. And you're not really ever seeing your child in those states of what I'm talking about, except for maybe when you got him for 2 days. Maybe you got to experience him bedwetting when he was younger. Maybe you got to change a couple poopy diapers. Maybe. But it's like, I've been here the whole time. I never got to just, here, let me leave Josiah with you for 8 months while I go figure out what I want to do. I never had that luxury. And I never had that option either. And I think it causes, like, I think a lot of children that grow up with single moms grow up with, with their parents being really angry and taking that out on their kids because they're tired and they're frustrated. And I even feel it happening to me at times. And I just, when I'm alone, I try to pray about that and just ask God to take anger and frustration out of me. It's not even completely at his dad, but I just mean in general, like, life is overwhelming at times. You have to work. You have to figure out how you're going to pay your bills and everything else on top of taking care of a growing person that needs things all the time, 24/7. And you don't have time for yourself. Or when you do have time for yourself, you have to consider your children around that time for yourself. It's a lot. So, it would be great to have something. I would be thankful to have a situation where I could rotate weekends. Like, some of my female friends, stepsister, whatever, she got 2 baby daddies, and her her baby daddies get their kids almost every weekend. I'm like, I wish that I could just get 1 weekend every month. Just to have that break. Our break comes if my dad or Desmond's mom is available for the weekend and says, hey, bring them over. And I'm thankful for those, but imagine if his biological father's family was doing that part too. Because it shouldn't just be on us or just on me. And for single moms, I know it's even harder because you just have your family and you just have you and your resources. It's a lot. Yeah, right now I have full custody because he didn't sign the birth certificate. Okay, so he chose not to sign the birth certificate, or he wasn't there, like, present with you to sign it? Because my son's father didn't sign the birth certificate either, but it was because he was incarcerated. So he wouldn't have been able to sign, period. His mom and grandma came while I was in labor. Um, they weren't there when he was born. My dad and my aunt were there when my son was born. But his family came to see me when I was in labor the day before and after Josiah was born. But they weren't, and they showed up late to my baby shower. They were there for that, but they weren't really there for the whole pregnancy, especially once he got locked up. Yes, I've been there, and I asked God to give me all the patience
No,
and strength as a mother. We are strong.
no. I'll come give you one later.
Even this, he's
Wait.
sitting here being hard headed right now.
Go sit down. I'll come give you one later. And close the door, please.
Hold on, y'all. When I was a kid, after my parents divorced, I went to my dad's house on the weekends. And I feel like that's good. So, because my mom and my dad got a divorce, and I used to go over my dad's house on the weekends sometimes too. But it wasn't the same. My mom had me a lot, and we used to bump heads because she was angry at my dad, and I looked like my dad. And I hate to say that, but that's a real thing. Like, I never got it. I was like, I'm never going to grow up and be like that. But I get it. It's not on purpose, but you just feel so overwhelmed with life that it ends up reflecting in how you treat people, and your kids are included in those people. I wish men would grow up, own up to their responsibilities and their choices, and especially with the children. These are their seeds, and it's like, I know it's because I'm a single mom too, but continue to pray, love. Flo, I get it. I'm a fatherless child as well. My baby daddy promised if we didn't work, he'd be there. But once he realized I was serious about moving on, that shit went out the window. That's kind of what happened with me, too. Honestly, I felt like he thought that he was going to continue. Because me and my son's father, we dated for like on and off. On and off for real. Like, I had other boyfriends. We broke up for long periods. We'd get back together. But we dated on and off for like 7 years. And he, we would always get back together. So the last time when I said I was done, I think that he thought it was going to be like the other times. And when I didn't want to be intimate with him, even though we weren't in a relationship and he was cheating, he didn't want to do his part anymore either. But anyway, I digress. I pray for patience and mental clarity because it's not the baby's fault. Thank you. I appreciate it. I pray for it as well. Yes, he wasn't there, and I had the opportunity to sign, and he chose not to sign. Okay. I can't stand him because of how he did my son, but I was truly grateful for his mom and sister who helped a lot. Mama's baby, daddy's maybe. Because he said if he's not on BC, it'll be hard for him to be... If he's not on BC, it'll be harder for him to be put on child support. Is that what he said for real? Oh, wow. I'm sorry.
He's absolutely right.
He was already thinking about that instead of his child, though?
You're always going to think about that. What do you mean? Do y'all not hear me when we talk about this like every other week? This is like...
Y'all care about being on child support more than you care about your actual child?
Okay. I don't know how many times we're going to have this conversation about men and child support, but we're back at it.
Clearly, so, Desmond.
Yes. Here, no, I don't want the women's perspective. You're asking a guy.
It's okay, Jason.
You're asking a guy why they care about being on child support more. And here's the same thing that I continue to say every single time, because child support is not just money. Child support is something that can very simply ruin your life after missing one payment. It's not something that women deal with very often, so y'all are not going to understand the male perspective on it, because the only thing that y'all are caring about is the fact that there's support there. Everybody else who has enforced child support does not care. And the main reason I can say that is because I've done child support cases where I've had to issue warrants on men who literally owed $75, but because their wife came up there and raised hell in the middle of court, they had to issue an arrest warrant.
Kim said, I wish I had a mic to chime in. Consistent. I just let go and let God. That's what I realized how serious I was.
Like, it's never gonna... Child support, for most of the time, women who... Y'all never have to think about the idea of child support no differently. But y'all tell us we don't have to think about the idea of being pregnant and going through pregnancy and going through childbirth.
I just mean that I get that you're saying we have the advantage of having the custodial rights. But did you ever think that we don't always want the custodial rights? Maybe we don't like the way the system is set up either. No. I would love for parents to be able to... I would love for parents to be able to decide for themselves what type of arrangement that they want.
You can. Before you get to court.
And I feel like it doesn't happen, so you automatically shift all that. You shift all that on the mom. And so right. The same way that if y'all feel about child support is the same way we feel about being the one 24/7 dealing with our kids when we didn't make the kid by ourselves.
Right.
So it's like, I guess that's why you won't get sympathy from us about it, because it's like,
right, and that
the way that we're seeing it is all you have to do is keep a job and pay child support.
That's not.
But all we have to do, especially in this day and age, is keep a job, feed the kids, help the kids with school, help the kids with everything they need, be there for them 100%, and then while still trying to build up yourself. You don't get a break from it unless you have a strong support system. And as a single mom, you often don't have that strong support system. Right. I was blessed because I had my dad, but I know a lot of people who don't have a parent in their life. And if my dad wasn't there, My mom was. My mom was.
But
My
hold on,
mom was. My mom
I have
passed
to
away when I was a
I
teen, so
have to
all I
touch
had
on
was my
I have to
dad.
touch on Kim's comment. The men with kids with no values. Did y'all not see that they didn't have values before y'all had
People
kids with
don't
them?
realize that coochie is attached to babies. Folks think that one has
No,
nothing to do with the other. They
they
think
don't.
it's light and fun and free till
They
they think
don't.
it's a joke. No,
They
they change.
no, they don't. Here's why. Because the conversation,
I mean,
I know honestly they don't change.
it well something changes,
No,
Des.
are y'all not listening to what I'm saying? I'm giving y'all the handbook.
You said that it's a lot of
They're
things that we do.
no,
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 babe, you
no. I
did.
know, but
Babe, you said we get on you. It's a lot of stuff we do and we're a handful. And that once we get pregnant, it's like, okay,
it's not
no.
just when you
It's
get
like a.
pregnant.
That's what you
I
said
understand that
earlier. I
as far as
heard
pregnancy,
you.
but I also said before I got to pregnancy, you're getting on his nerves already, and he's showing you certain
Baby,
signs.
that's what I just said.
Right.
Why you repeating what I just
So
said?
when he's
That's
giving
what
you,
I just
so if he's giving
said.
you certain signs, or you're giving him certain signs, how often do y'all pay attention to
Kids, I
him
can't
being?
call you. I can't call you.
How often do y'all pay attention to him really being annoyed with you?
I'm gonna start going live on Instagram, y'all. So I can join, so we can join the
Like
live.
that's all I'm saying. How often do you see him really getting annoyed with you and take it seriously? When a guy gets upset, how
But
often do
baby,
y'all
okay,
take it
wait,
seriously?
babe. But look, I'll go back to your question. But Florence is just saying that she doesn't want me to walk away while I'm doing everything, and that's that's
I
that's
that's valid.
real.
That's valid. But
That's all.
I can
I'm not sure. Jason said no. I can't watch Insta lives. I still don't get why you can't watch Insta lives. Hmm. I'm not sure. If you could live forever, would you?
I don't know.
I don't
I don't
know.
know. That's not
The
something
world,
I'm.
the world hasn't been. Well,
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Dad's speaking for all the men in the world right now. He's being the voice.
Yeah,
You're right.
because a lot of times when guys say
I
these
wish
things,
Mr. Popeye's Chicken was here because he could tune in and give his insight on it. You
because a
know,
lot of times, and I
y'all
can,
remember Popeyes? He kept talking about them biscuits.
because a lot.
Oh, you use the website. Okay, okay.
Oh, Jason, they have the live feature now on the website, so you should be able to watch on the live
Oh
from the
Lord.
website. Like it's a lot of times when guys speak on certain things, y'all don't really listen.
Jason said they do! Exclamation
Yes,
point.
they do. They just it got updated a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, it should be on there now.
Yay, Jason.
But because a lot of times when guys say certain things, it gets brushed off.
They definitely show you who they are ahead of time. Sad but true. It's the same guy who won't return texts. Is the same guy who doesn't want to have anything to do with kids.
Nah, that's not true either. They come in different forms. They'll return your text.
I think that sometimes we just be in love with the idea of having somebody and we don't pay attention. Cuz I know that was my issue every time I got my heart broke. Every single time I got my heart broke. Um there were red flags all along, but because I loved the person and I didn't want to be alone, both of those were my problem. And I can tend to be codependent at times. So, I can be kind of like clingy. Um, there were red flags. And, in hindsight, you can look back and laugh and be like, this fool used to hide my products because he had somebody coming over. I found underwear in the dryer when I washed my clothes over there that weren't my underwear. You know what I'm saying? But he had a roommate, so he said it was his roommate's girlfriends or whatever. But and I'm not talking about my baby's father. I'm just talking about an ex from college. It was just like all kinds of red flags, and I would just let stuff slide because I liked the person, I loved the person. We had a good intimate connection. I thought that, he was the person for me because of how he made me feel physically. But I only have one son, so I can only tell you that you gotta believe people when they show you the true colors the first time. And when it comes to cheating, like, I won't say what I won't ever do, but forgiving somebody for cheating on you is an open door for them to keep cheating on you. If you're married, I would say, depending on the circumstance, maybe you could get some counseling and work on it the first time. But cheating is one of them things that I used to put up with in the past with my son's father. And really, things just got worse every time we got back together. So I say that to y'all to say, like, the signs were there. He did not, I mean, when we were dating, he couldn't stay out of jail. He got kicked out of school. We were complete opposites. I was like a good girl, head on the shoulders, on the way to college. He was like in the streets, kind of like, handsome, football play, physique, but kind of like a ladies' man type. But, young, dumb, in love. I don't know why at that point. But all I can say is that there were definitely red flags. So many red flags. But I was romanticizing having someone. I was romanticizing the cute pictures that we would take, the videos we would make, the fun that we would have. His family, because his family liked me. But I mean, everybody's family liked me. Everybody's family that I dated, every boyfriend's family that I met liked me because I was a good person. So, like, falling in love for the wrong reasons, but not for how he treated me or what he did for my spirit and my soul and what I could do for him. You know what I mean? So, I agree with Des when he says that the signs are there before you get pregnant. And it's hard. You can make up your mind while you're pregnant that you don't want to deal with it anymore, but I think the realization comes after the baby is there, because it's one thing for someone to treat you a certain way. You may be able to get past that, but what will anger you even more is when they treat your child a certain way, because you start to realize that they don't care about their family.
No, that's not true.
That's kind of how I feel, because that child is their family. So if you neglect your responsibilities for your family member, then that shows your ability, your selfishness.
Do you want to know why sometimes they don't feel like doing certain things?
Because they're the baby mama?
Exactly.
That's not a reason, babe.
Yes, it is.
It's a lot of times I don't want to deal with his dad, but if that is going to make my son happy, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Is the way y'all, here's the thing that guys talk about. The way y'all talk now and the way things are being said now are the same things that are said directly to them, but then you almost do it in a more demanding way and condescending. One thing you can't do if you're gonna have a relationship and y'all want to have a relationship together, you can't look down on somebody and then tell them that you ain't doing this, you ain't doing that. You don't see them as equals. 9 times out of 10, when you're not there, the kid repeats it, and then you think they want to come and deal with you all the time. That's not there. It's not that they don't care about the kid. It's the fact that they got to deal with your funky ass attitude, and they have to do it on a regular basis for the rest of their life. And you know what? Sometimes they cut losses, and it's not good. It's very bad. But that ain't childish. That's real, because people do it all the time. You'll cut off somebody else.
But what are we dealing with at the same time?
You're dealing with something that you knew as a woman you might have to deal with, but never truly considered. And as sad as that is, and it sucks, that's real. It's something that nobody ever considers, and yet it's a viable option.
I think so.
So here's the thing. As much as, Kim, I'm looking at that statement, as much as like y'all like to throw that term around, y'all have zero right to throw that term around. Ever. At all.
Why?
Real men? How can you tell him he's not a real man? What is the definition of a real man? Because here's the thing, you'll say one thing that's a real man, somebody else will say something that's a real man. Nobody else gets to determine what a real man is. The real man is literally somebody who's over the age of 18, and if he steps into court for something, he can be tried as an adult. That is a real man, point blank, period. Everybody else's opinions of what comes with it is null and void. That's just like saying you try to call somebody.
I think by real man, she just means that men that are gonna be honest and stick to
Guess
their
what?
responsibilities.
That doesn't make him any more of a real man than the person that doesn't. Because what you face as a man is something that you can't understand, just like I can't understand being a woman. You can't say who's a real man and who's not. Because it's all based on personal opinion.
Play devil's advocate. There's plenty of men who say they want a real woman, like a real down chick or whatever.
Right, but they don't have any right to say that either.
What they mean is they want somebody loyal, and that's what we mean when we say it.
Right. So
some people are not real. It's kind of like It's kind of like saying where are the real friends at? It's the same thing.
No.
What makes you a real friend is the fact that you are gonna be Jason, I agree. Like somebody that's gonna be loyal and is not gonna give up when things get hard.
But guess what?
And so that's what any gender means when they say that. They want someone loyal, someone faithful, and someone that's not gonna give up when things get hard.
Here's the problem.
Because the thing is, any new relationship is gonna be fun. There's gonna be a lot of intimacy. There's gonna be a lot of cute pictures and superficial stuff at the surface because it's new. But once you start to actually get to know each other, you get to go through some things together, you get to take some L's together, you get to see some wins together, you get to see them go through stuff. That's when you see the foundation of the relationship. And for a lot of us in the black community, it just seems like, as soon as it just seems like as soon as
that's a whole different topic other folks ain't ready for.
It just seems like as soon as the pregnancy comes up, it just crumbles.
Yeah.
And
but it's not just when it's not just when the pregnancy happens.
How about this? I will do a podcast. I am thinking about making a Patreon soon.
Going back to it, it's not just the pregnancy. I'm just have to realize.
But look, Des, from the female perspective, it is because whose fault is it that you never spoke up about how you felt prior to her getting pregnant?
Who said that they didn't speak up? You just missed everything I said. Women have, and here's the thing I can say, a lot of the black women that I know have a very bad issue with listening and taking things seriously that they don't care about because it does not match their opinion. That is a problem. Because you don't take it seriously and you don't care about what he's saying because he don't add up to what a real man is supposed to be in your mind. So now that he don't own up to be a real man, oh, well, if he with me, he gonna do A, B, C, and E. Because I can demand, or he gonna be, or this, that, and the other, and then he ain't no real man. No, sweetie. He already told you what he did and didn't want. But because it did not line up, you were determined to veer him in the way you wanted him to go. He showed you who he was. He told you how he felt. However, you did not care. Because it was not what you wanted. So when he had already said that, now that it came time for him to act on it, he acted on it. Who is he true to? Himself. Because when he was trying to be true to you and tell you what you didn't want to hear, you didn't want to hear it and you bypassed it. He told you who he was. He showed you who he was 9 times out of 10 on numerous occasions. But the problem we're having now is the same problem that was had then. You're talking more than you want to listen, and now that you're seeing, oh, he ain't this and that. No, it's not his fault when he told you. You have to listen and take him seriously at his word of what he's saying in that moment. Not bypass it with everything else that you want to happen or bringing up everything else so you can feel like you were right. Because it's not about you being right when he's giving you his opinion on a situation that involves him. It ain't about you being right. Stop trying to be right every time. Because then we end up in situations like these, and then our dudes ain't this and that. He told you. He showed you. And now you're mad because he told you and stuck to his word. Why are you mad about it? If a dude says they're unhappy, quit boxing him in with the emotions you only think he can have.
But did he say that he was unhappy?
Yes. A lot of times dude will say they're unhappy. And the thing is, it goes
did he ever say that he was unhappy? Hi, Strat Gamer.
But that requires it to be love and not convenience, Kim. It requires love, not convenience.
I think both people should compromise.
But she's saying love is supposed to be a compromise. What I'm saying is, if it's convenience and not love, there is no compromise. What you're basing it on means that both people have to feel the same thing about each other.
That's rare.
Ding, ding,
One
ding.
person always likes the other more.
So if
Usually,
you
usually I think it's the person who pursued the other first.
sometimes, but here's also the thing that everybody keeps saying: the guy has to love the woman more. If you do that, and he does, and he's constantly feeling like he's not being heard, guess what that becomes? It becomes disdain and resentment. So just as quickly as he was happy to pursue you, he's gonna be that much quicker to leave, because what he's doing is he's giving you a whole lot more than what men are already taught to give, and you're pissing on it.
Yeah.
So if you're already,
I will say I still think it's good for women to be with somebody that likes them more, because
I don't.
if you like them more and you're the one giving and it's not appreciated or given back, then you're gonna end up with a shorter end of the stick.
Yo-sha, the whole thing with this love is that y'all both have to be on equal footing. I'm
That's
really,
not realistic
how
though.
not? You can't tell me y'all both don't have to care about each other the same way for things to work. I don't get it. How is
I
that
said
false?
that you can care about each other, but initially somebody is gonna like somebody more.
Right, but here's the thing. Once we start getting into it and y'all are telling me that y'all don't care about each other the same, 9 times out of 10, the guy has to care more. No, this is why you end up getting this hyper masculine type attitude.
Yeah,
How
you
are we missing
can.
it?
Yes, you can if you would like to ask for advice. But here's the thing: I don't need a boy. I need a grown man who's in touch with himself, not a struggling ass guy who's trying to figure out where he wants to be or what he willing to handle. Well,
So
Kim,
here,
that's the thing. I understand. So from what you're saying, it sounds like what you really mean is
you
that
want somebody
you
who's
want some.
established already that you
That's
don't
what
have
I
to
was
do
about
work
to
on.
say. Damn it. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. Um, and you communicate that early. But if you're talking to somebody and you say that that's what you want and you find out that that's not what he has, you need to leave, because you said you wanted someone that is established, basically. And if they're not established and you try to work with them and they're not moving at the pace you want them to work at, or they're not living up to the standard that you desire, you're going to be disappointed and resentful because you compromised on something that you really wanted that was really a deal breaker for you, but you decided to go along with it because you saw the potential, but he may not be ready to get there just because you are.
But you
So
are
it is better to be with somebody that's already where you want them to be, and that hopefully they're okay with where you are as well, because who's to say that an established man may not also want an established woman, because an established man knows that he has something to lose. Then you got some people that aren't established but they have a good head on their shoulders and they're in the right direction, and they might or might not want to be in a relationship. Because I know personally, if I knew what I knew now, I would have waited to date. I would have waited to get married. Once I broke up with Josiah's father, I would have just took some time to just be by myself. And I say that because now I know the potential and some of the gifts that I had. And being a wife and being a mom are things that caused me to take away from those things. You know, if I would have known what I knew now at 21 before I got pregnant, I would have done things completely differently. Because it takes a lot of focus and attention to get things established. It's not to say that you can't once you have kids, but it's difficult to be selfish when you have the responsibility as a mom full time to take care of your kids. So requiring someone to have something to bring to the table, I'm not gonna say that you're wrong for that. But you need to also have your own things to bring to the
well,
table too.
well. Here's what I'll say on that too. Don't be mad if you find somebody who's established and their overall dedication at the end of the day is not to you. You didn't build anything with them. You were not there for the struggle. You were not there for anything. What you're getting is the overall after finished effect. So what gives you the right to say that, oh well, I don't
Oh,
want
it's
you once.
okay, Kim. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me reread it. But here's the thing. I don't need a man. Okay, I read that part. Yes, but they change after kids is what I'm saying.
They do. It's natural.
Am I right?
Yeah.
I think we changed after kids. I know I did. I changed after I
Everybody.
had my kid. I got more responsible after I had my kid. And a lot of the foolishness that I used to put up with dating, I just stopped. Wait.
Go ahead, because I was finna jump on the news.
My feelings were stronger. He wasn't ready to be in a relationship, and we started having sex. I got pregnant. Oh. Okay. That makes sense. Kim, that makes sense. Florence, that makes sense. I'm sorry. I got confused. Um, Start over and just do one statement at a time, and that way I can see what you're saying.
Who started?
Or do you want Des to talk first?
I mean,
Because maybe we misunderstood what she was saying.
no, she's basically saying that I'll start touching on something and then you jump in.
And interrupt.
Yeah, and it's confusing her.
Oh.
That's what she's saying. But I mean, trying to think of where I was before that happened.
Well, we could just go back to her statement and then you could talk. She said, but here's the thing. I don't want a boy. I need a grown man who's in touch with himself, not a struggling ass guy.
It's not. But
who is trying to figure everything out.
I got what she's saying. Here's the thing. What I was saying is, you're not.
You're welcome.
Nobody's obligated to give you that. A guy, especially a black guy, has enough going on as it is already. The one thing he don't want to do is walk into a relationship of demands, because nobody has the right to demand anything and think that somebody has to give it to them. You can have your standards, and you can hold people to them, but you can't make a demand like that. Especially if you're saying that you don't want nobody who got to get it together and you're not seeing the come up. All you seeing is the after effect. You want the pot of gold, but no journey to get to it. So as a guy, that's not something you want to deal with. Because truth be told, as a guy, you don't really have that luxury very often. So why is a guy obligated to give that? And any woman, especially lately, who's basically been saying somebody who's not on their same level is not worthy of them, why would they do that as a guy? Do you understand how often guys hear that? How often guys are expected to have it together, to be able to pay for the dates, to be able to do everything. And you know what? If she ain't had it, it's okay, because you're supposed to be the protector and the provider. But then they don't value your opinion. They don't value your emotions. They don't really listen to you. But you're supposed to have everything else together, because that's the way it's supposed to work. Absolutely not. God, you don't. Guys are never supposed to be equal, but they're supposed to be able to pay and protect. You're not valued otherwise. Why? what's the point? And that's the one thing guys keep saying. If you don't already value them at the bottom, why am I supposed to think you value me at the top? Because if I fall from the top and you ain't never seen me at the bottom, the first thing we think is you on your way out the door anyway. So it creates a problem, and a serious problem, because it just flat out does not look good. But like I was saying, as guys, these things are not just being said
Why do
afterwards,
men have to have it together and women don't?
because that's been the double standard since the beginning of time.
No, you're right, but that's why you have to search for your perfect match or close to it, especially before kids are in the picture. I'm saying a man will be great to you until you have children. Some of them fold under pressure.
Right, they do, because and it's exactly because of what I just said. You're growing up in you're
Do
raised.
you mean like it goes from everything being kind of good and more of an even playing field, but once you become pregnant, it's like, okay, responsibilities all
No,
on you?
no. What I'm saying is, it becomes at the beginning. It's still supposed.
And hey, couple to love.
You're supposed to have it already together, but what you're saying is not valued and it's not respected, and you see it from the beginning and you point it out and it's bypassed. So why, if you already do that to me when there are not kids there, why am I expecting it to change when kids become there? Because what's going to happen is they're not going to respect him, but they're going to run to him and ask for money. They're going to run to him and ask to go do stuff. But the first thing they're going to do when before they do it is, oh well, mommy said I can't, and mommy trumps daddy. They're not equal. Mommy trumps daddy. But daddy's supposed to be the one that makes money. So I don't have to care about what daddy says, but I know that daddy needs to make money and bring it in so mommy doesn't say daddy's less than. That's the problem. But I mean, if that's the case, Florence, there would be a lot of relationships that never happen that end up growing into being something great. Like if you're in a state of transition, if you're telling people that date that they're in a state of transition, so many great people who are ended up being great would never be great, because you have other people that literally come along and push you and are able to tap into and see what you see, but they're not pushing their potential and their vision on you. They're really trying to help you achieve yours. They're doing it unselfishly, because it's not, oh well, if I do this then I will receive. It's, I really want to see this person do great whether I'm there or not. And that's part of things in relationships that are not had. You don't want to be friends with them because you truly want them to succeed afterwards. You only want to be friends with them because you see something that you want to gain. And that's not being a friend. In a relationship, if you're not friends to the point of, you know what, we're both adults and we can probably still be friends after this because we can take our egos out of the way, then that's the problem. Everybody wants to have their ego. Everybody wants to feel like, oh, this part did never happen and I ain't never got to speak to it again because blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool.
I don't feel like you have to be friends with people from your past.
I
Some
didn't
people,
say I didn't say you did, but what I'm saying is, if you're so hurt and your ego's there and you can't at least acknowledge that certain things happen and bring up, hey, there's a good thing that happened instead of everything being bad and this person ain't this, that, and the third, and you gotta bad mouth them, you can't look at them, you can't see them. It's like, oh, everything that I did reminds me of blah 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 blah. Then we have a problem, because the thing is, it might be based on the fact that you weren't genuine friends to begin with.
yeah, I think it's a double standard that exists for sure, but I also think that, I mean, I've heard older people say that you should be able to take care of yourself before you worry about a relationship, because if not, then you're going to basically struggle. Um, and then you put your burden on someone else. And that's truth. I think you should definitely be able to provide for yourself and survive on your own. If you can't, getting in a relationship will be cool, but I mean, you can't. You're gonna be limited in what you can do.
Well, that always buys the fact of in your vows for better or for worse, for richer or for poor. It sounds like a cliche until it actually happens, and most people are not really at that point to where they truly want to take it seriously because at that point you no longer love them, which means that 9 times out of 10 you didn't love them from the beginning.
I mean, in the dating phase, I'm not in a better or for worse stage, though.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. If you're looking at that point and you're saying, "Hey, I wouldn't even consider it," then why would you sit up here and say that later on? What I'm saying is, when you do certain things, you have to be prepared for everything. And if you're really saying until death do you part, that's fine. But if you're saying the end of the relationship will end when it's no longer convenient for me, then you probably don't need to be in a relationship with anyone ever at all.
I think that in the dating phase, I wouldn't be necessarily as worried. I think there is a certain requirement on both people based on what your lifestyle preferences are, um, prior to you start discussing that. But I say that because if one person is wanting a relationship but the other person is focused on something else, that's true too. Like if you like somebody and they're cool, but you really are trying to focus on starting your business and your person that you're dating wants more time with you, but you can't give it to them because you're working on your business and the time that they want would take away from priorities, it's better to not even try to pursue anything because you don't want to get into arguments about what you can't do right now with time because you've already expressed that you're really focused on your business. So, depending on what kind of thing you have in transition, a relationship may not be the best thing because it requires selfishness that wouldn't really work in a relationship. But that's the thing. There's also a lack of maturity or responsibility in having sex when you're in said transition, which is what's leading to getting pregnant. Like if you
No.
know that you're not trying to um, be in a relationship, I think like condoms and birth control should be something that are used because you're not trying to get pregnant. I mean, you can still get pregnant, but a lot of times when people get pregnant, it's because they're not using condoms or they're not being careful with sex. When I got pregnant, that's how I got pregnant. It wasn't the condom slipped off, the condom broke. There was no condom. There was no pulling out. That's how I got pregnant.
My
I
my
mean, I've avoided pregnancy for a long time by being careful. And before I got pregnant, when I avoided it for that long time that I was sexually active, it was because we were careful. So I say that to say it's okay to say you want to focus on something that you love to do and you don't want a relationship, but you need to match that energy with also not being as concerned with having unprotected sex as well.
You also need to match that same energy with consent and having a baby between both people.
But what I'm saying is,
I
if you're
get
saying you don't want a
I
relationship, then
you
it's
want a
some of the
relationship and you
men that say they don't want relationships pursue sex with multiple women heavily.
yeah, that's no different than women who don't want relationships and have and pursue sex with people heavily. Listen, most sometimes people literally just want to have sex, but people who say it, people get easily offended because it sounds like, oh well, he just think I'm easy, but you want to have sex. Here's the thing: the consent with having sex is not always the same consent met with having a kid. But you're looked down upon if you can't take care of said kid had without there being consent. So I'm not confused on it. What I'm saying is that if you're gonna have sex and I need your consent, why are you having a kid and not consenting with me?
Then protect yourself.
No,
Yes, if you
no,
don't
it's
want
not just no.
kids.
Hear me, okay, y'all. You're bypassing what I'm saying. If you're basically saying I can sit up here and say I don't want to have kids all day, what I'm saying is if you get pregnant and you want me to take care of it, why are you not asking my consent too?
Well, I did, and you said you wanted the baby too. But when
Yeah,
it got here, you
you
didn't help.
you are, but a lot of people are not.
Florence, did you ask him if he wanted to have the baby? Did he try to convince you not to have the baby? She said, but you know what it takes to get pregnant.
Yeah,
Not Florence. Somebody.
everybody knows what it takes to get pregnant. We also know that you can sit up here. We understand this. We get consent when it's time to have sex too.
Ooh.
What I'm saying is, we all know what it takes to get pregnant. Two and two. Great. Are we asking for consent to have a baby just like we want people to ask for consent when they want to have sex?
Ooh.
I guess the best.
So if you don't want to get pregnant, then protect yourself on both ends.
The best analogy I could give was, if y'all have seen, it's a Dave Chappelle.
But I hear what you're saying.
It's a Dave Chappelle comedy special where he talks about the new abortion law that was passed and the backside of it, of how it should work for men. And I think that's the best way to explain it. Like, it made perfect sense, and a lot of people started to understand it when he said it that way. That's what I'm saying. Like I said, the one thing is, and I guess for me it goes back to, are you looking at people as equals or not in a relationship?
I don't know, y'all. Well, on that note, does anybody have any other questions or anything? Honestly, so he was saying he didn't want to be in a relationship. He was the one who always brought up having a baby. And yes, we had sex unprotected, but at the time he was telling me he loves me and sending mixed messages.
He wasn't sending mixed messages. He was playing a role.
Florence, men lie.
He was playing a role.
And at this point, I thought we were working towards a relationship. I've been guilty of that too, based on what was said in the moment and the fact that we were having sex. But if they ask, if you ever have a conversation with a man when you're dating and you ask him, what are y'all? And he says,
we are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
and he says that y'all are friends and he doesn't want a relationship, then don't think otherwise after that. Sometimes during sex, things are said that aren't meant. Sometimes when people are drunk, they say stuff they don't mean. If they're intoxicated in other ways, they say stuff they don't mean. And when they want sex from you, they'll flirt and say things that they don't mean because they want to have sex. Kara, I noticed. I looked up and it was 12:10. I'm like, dang, I've been on here for 2 hours. I was supposed to be on here for 1. You know I don't be wanting to cut y'all off in the middle of y'all good conversation. And I want to help. You know, I want to be of help if you need advice. Because I know you're going to be up thinking about this conversation and your life when we get off here. Oh, Florence, I'm not making fun of you. Every woman that's been in that situation hopes for the better. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with hoping for the better because you see the potential and you want your family. And you thought that he might want it too because of everything that happened. And you know that sometimes getting pregnant changes things. So you thought that, yes, it's midnight over here in my area. Boy, if you don't leave my blankets alone, you got blankets on your bed. Bye. Y'all, exhausted is an understatement. It's midnight for Kira too. We in the same time zone. I don't know about the rest of y'all. I think some of y'all are like, it's not as late. It might be only 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock where y'all are at. Moving on. Any other topics? We were way past an hour. No, you guys. It was somebody on here who wanted advice, but they probably left the chat. Josiah, you have a blanket.
He's not looking for a blanket. He's looking for pajamas.
He can sleep with what he has on.
Oh.
Just want to come in here and be hard. Whew. Y'all, I'm tired. I think that at this is a good stopping point. It's only 9, girl. You on the West Coast. The West Coast. All right, Jason. If I come live again over the weekend, then pop in and let me know that you did. Florence, I think we've all been guilty of having one in our life. And everything that goes wrong is going to always be your fault when you're dealing with somebody that is a narcissist. They can do everything to you. Yeah, let me know, Jason. They can do everything to you, but it'll always be your fault. Ooh. Since we're still talking, I'm going to just put this charger in because my iPhone just said that I have 20% left. So, Florence, you on the East Coast with me, sis? I didn't know that. I don't know why I thought she was somewhere else. Don't allow.
Why does she think she's dealing with a narcissist?
Kara called him a narcissist.
Why?
Baby, I don't really want to get into it. That's going to start a whole other 15 minutes. But honestly, I mean, we can get into it. The last comment that she said sounds kind of like a narcissistic trait. If you're saying something, or kind of what you said he's playing a role that you really don't want to be in on purpose to get what you want out of it is manipulative.
The best analogy I have for that is men use love to get sex like women use attraction to get free food.
That's not the same.
Yes, it is.
She's in love with him.
I know
and
that.
she wants to be
but
with him.
But guess what? The guy
and he knows that. So instead of not dealing with her at all because he doesn't want to, he can't give her what she actually wants. He used it to his advantage to get the sex out of it.
It's the
and
same
then they
thing.
ended up getting pregnant. And now he don't want to be bothered at all.
What I'm saying is...
And you're using a man to get some food or a date, it doesn't affect you for the rest of your life.
Yes, it does.
Like a pregnancy would.
Yes, it... Oh, so...
Not like no pregnancy would.
Stop. I need you to listen.
I can listen, but I don't agree with what you just said.
I'm not asking you to agree. I'm just telling you to listen. What I'm saying is, guys, especially guys who do not find themselves popular and or attractive, hinge on the every word of when a cute girl asks him to go somewhere and get food, he saves up his money and does everything in order to make sure he can take her out to get food with the behest of saying, you know what, maybe this is my time. Although you're saying it does not stick with him for the rest of his life, a lot of these times these guys who end up being the jerks and assholes and everything else, it sticks with them because they've learned not to care because now they don't trust women, but they'll manipulate in the same way.
Hi, Kaylee. Thank you for letting me know which video you found me on. I'm happy to hear that you got your next one removed. Leave my blanket alone.
Get up.
Stop coming in here being hard-headed. No. Leave my stuff alone. Go lay down. I'm finna cut the live off. You finna go get in the bed. Oh, my gosh. Anytime, Florence. You're not even supposed to be in here. D, you missed the whole in-depth discussion. Where were you? You missed it. But seriously, Kaylee, thank you for letting me know that you found me because of my next one on video. And I hope that things go back to normal for you with getting that removed because next one on definitely made me hormonal and I gained weight while on it. Oh, y'all went to go get pizza. Y'all are cute. Oh, that's sweet. But I do feel like that's narcissistic behavior. And the thing is, sometimes narcissistic people can't see that they're being narcissistic, but some of them know that they're being narcissistic. And other narcissistic people will deny the traits of narcissism and make it another excuse. That's a trait of being narcissistic.
Yeah,
Like
but
you'll
him
justify wrong because
no
you want
different.
what you want.
But it's no different. A lot of people use the same narcissistic traits. It's just we're saying my wrong is just not as bad as your wrong, but they're both wrong.
I remember what you were saying before Sai came in here. You was talking about men buying girls food and stuff and then getting rejected.
All right, it sticks with them for the rest of their life, and it actually creates the said douchebag you no longer want to deal with. It creates said problem that nobody wants to deal with, but nobody wants to take credit for creating said problem.
Really, Kira? That birth control ruined my life. I ain't been able to get back down under the low 200s since I got on that birth control. Prior to getting on that birth control, my weight sat between like a 197 and a 220 at the highest. And ever since I took it off, I have been in the yeah, the mid, I can't talk, the middle of the 200s. Like 240s, 250s. Like I carry my weight well, but I feel like I'm fat because I used to be much smaller. I think it depends on the girl. A guy can make a minimalistic effort with one girl and get some, and then meet a girl who sets the bar higher and have to ride to that bar. It's a matter of the effort they want to put in, and the girls will accept. Yes, now it's just on a plateau. Can't get rid of the weight. Bye, Jason. Good night. Thank you for joining us tonight, and I'll see you on Friday. I don't know. I just think that it's like, I don't know. It's hard. Florence, I just want you to be happy. And I want you to be healthy. I want you and your daughter to get better. And I just want you to focus on the two of you and what's best for the two of you. Um, that's my advice. Because at the end of the day, you're always going to have each other no matter what. So, as hard as it is, let go of your fear because what's meant to happen is going to happen. And no matter what happens, you're going to be able to get through it. Hopefully she's still here to hear that. But yeah, that's what I had to realize. Like, if you think of everything that you've been through to this point, the difficulties of your pregnancy, life before that, and you've been able to make it. You've been able to make it through. It might have not been easy, but you were able to make it. So I'm saying that so you know that you're going to make it through this. This is just the hard part. But the hard part builds character so that history will not repeat itself. And it will give you some time to heal and figure out what it is that Florence wants. Being a single mom is hard, but honestly, I'd rather be a single mom and have that time for me and my daughter and be able to figure out what I can do for me than to be trying to pursue someone that doesn't love me the same or close to the same. Because I still don't believe, I feel like in marriage or in a serious relationship, then you start growing to love each other around the same level. But I still stand on someone has to like the other person first. before y'all can get together. So I think that just the next time around, try to let the guy come to you and pursue the relationship
Jesus
with you.
Lord.
Dez is not gonna agree, and
I
say
never.
he didn't pursue me or
No, I
whatever.
wasn't even going into. I wasn't even gonna go
But
into that.
I think that that will help. My man liked me more than I liked him in the beginning. Now we're closer to equal. Right, and like Kara said, never in the wrong and everything is my fault, even when we got in a situation together. Narcissist and selfish who doesn't care about how it affects anyone else. Thanks, Yo-sha. I will. I got trust issues, though. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how I feel about it. You know, Des probably disagrees,
With what?
but that's how I feel. Because, like, it's just hard.
Like, what do I? I don't. I would disagree with what?
What Florence said.
I, I, yeah, I would. I would really be repeating what I already said.
I just think it can't be all on one person.
Right. It shouldn't have to be on one person from the beginning. But yet, that's exactly what people expect to happen.
Who's
You
to
know,
say it's on one person, though?
what I'm saying is, if you're sitting up here and saying he needs to like you more, he needs to pursue you more, he needs to plan everything, yada yada yada, you're putting it on one person from the very beginning. But what you're saying is you expect him to keep that same energy all the way through without it ever being a problem. He's never supposed to lose his energy. It's never supposed to drop off. But then you expect that when he gets pissed off, nothing else is gonna happen. He's never gonna leave. I'm
I don't think we
confused.
said that, Des. I just think that, like, in the beginning, a guy should pursue the woman that he has interest in.
And she should show the same energy.
No,
Yes.
he should
No.
pursue her, and they can see how they feel about each other. And then if he's interested, he can show his interest. And if she's also interested, of course she will match the same
But
energy.
that's not what happens. You know, so I can tell you a
Okay,
lot of.
so then you can continue to play devil's advocate, but
It's not devil's
no
advocate.
woman want. Well, most women that really want love are not gonna not try in a relationship, and that's kind of the way it's
But
coming off that you're
but that's
saying.
in the beginning of a relationship. That is what happens.
That's because that's the dynamic is of the man to chase or the man to
No, but that's the
pursue
thing.
the relationship.
You know where I stand on that. So
Women are
y'all,
not
both of y'all
supposed
know where I
women
stand.
women are not supposed to pursue
Nobody
you.
said pursue.
Men are supposed to pursue us.
What I said
So at the
was
beginning,
match.
you are gonna have to do more work to get the person that you really want. Not some jump off, not some one night stand, but some girl that you really want, that you
So,
feel that is a good match for you. It's gonna take effort, and there's nothing
but
wrong with
it's no
that.
effort
You
coming
have
on
to
your
you
end.
have to no, I didn't say there's no
But
effort
that,
coming on my
but
end,
that's
but you
normally what's
make the
happening.
first move
Right, but even when he makes
and
the
keep
first move, the expectations that
going
he's gonna keep making every move,
until
and you're
and
just gonna benefit
and
of it.
no, it's not
No,
about a benefit. It's about you make the first move until the trust is
no,
given
but why?
for the two of y'all to
How
work
does he build the
together.
trust? How does
By
where's the
being
trust
by
being built on
being
his end?
by being
No,
consistent
no, 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 no,
with
not no. I'm saying as far as how is he learning to trust her if he's doing all the work and putting out all the effort?
why is he doing all the work just by initiating?
I didn't
I'm
say
just saying
initiate. You're not. I didn't
initiating.
say initiating. What I
You're
said
not
was,
listening.
I
You're
am.
listening.
No,
You're
I'm.
hearing to argue, but you're
No,
not
I'm
hearing
not.
what I'm
I heard
saying.
exactly what you said,
I
and
am saying
you just
that
switched up.
no, I'm not switching up. You pursue and you keep being consistent. And as you're consistent, the woman will respond and the relationship would build.
But
I'm telling you because that's what happened with us. It was not that you pursued and I didn't give you anything back. You pursued and then we continued to talk and I gave you something that made you want to continue to pursue me. and in return, I kept talking to you, and it was an even exchange.
Right, and
but
that's what I'm saying.
It wouldn't have happened if you didn't put that effort forward. It wouldn't have happened if you were not consistent. It wouldn't have happened if you wouldn't have kept being consistent. That's fine, but what I'm saying is, in some situations, the man will take the girl out on a date one time, and after that, if he still likes her, but he just, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Or come chill. That's not giving a woman the same energy.
Do you want to know why?
I don't. Because my point is, if you really want to pursue somebody and show that you care, you're going to work at it. If you really want to build your business, you're going to work at it. If you really want that promotion, you're going to work at it. If you don't really care, then you will give up easily. And so
he is not giving up, though.
You are.
No, he's
if
not.
You don't care.
So are you so let me elaborate on that.
And Florence is saying at the beginning the energy was mutual.
Right. The energy was mutual. Right. That's what I'm saying. Mutual energy. Part of the reason
I think in the beginning the man should pursue the woman. And once you're committed, both parties make an effort to maintain the relationship. And I agree. But that's not the problem, man. That's exactly what happened with me.
Do you want the male perspective?
No.
That's the problem right there. That's the problem.
I don't, because it's the truth.
And guess what? No, it's not. It's the truth to women.
That's what happened. I'm telling you that's exactly how it happened.
What I'm saying is that as a guy, part of the reason you're not going to get this quote-unquote energy you want, where he's going to keep pursuing until you commit, is because what that relies on him to do is for you to commit. So what he's doing is putting out, which is the analogy I just gave with the going out and getting food. You're expecting.
That's not the same thing.
It is the same thing. Okay. I'm convinced, and this is why guys are having this issue, and you end up getting the douchebag problems, because when he's trying to explain something in the beginning, people are refusing to listen because the woman perspective, it has to be the way that I feel comfortable and I get to commit when I want to. But you expect him to commit to you and not speak to anybody else because y'all are in the talking phase, but he's doing all the pursuit. Why would he not go talk to somebody else and have options?
Nobody said that he couldn't. I'm just saying that if you are pursuing if you want a woman, you're gonna have to work for that woman.
And why is she not working for you?
Because she's the prize tag.
No, so he's not a prize?
Not until he proves himself.
Okay, great. So why are you a prize if you ain't proved nothing?
There was something you saw in me that you wanted.
Right, but you've already...
So you are...
No, like but that, he saw a small potential, but you're not working to
Bible
prove anything.
Says that
look, Yo-sha,
Adam was lonely, and
God created Eve from his rib.
Eve to give him a companion.
Right. We're not in the same biblical times.
It doesn't matter. The man pursues the woman.
Right. So you bypass my question.
Science.
Okay, cool. You can
present. Goes to the egg.
That's
the egg does not find the sperm unless in science today where the woman can't conceive, so she has to fertilize it medically. But
that's fine. That's not a problem.
But biologically, scientifically,
that's fine.
The sperm goes after the egg. The man goes after the woman. The man is to pursue the woman initially.
The same question.
When the man pursues the woman can choose how to respond.
Right.
If the man likes the way that the woman responds, then he needs to continue the conversation and make effort until they get to a point where they are basically in a agreement to being in a relationship. Before that point, you are going to have to work for it. And there's nothing wrong with you working for somebody. Like, that's part of how the dynamic works.
Right, but y'all are talking, but everything you're saying in your dynamic and the way it works, how many people are complaining about the dynamic? For everybody who is just on this live and commenting on how guys that had their stuff together, I'm sure they're operating on that dynamic, and yet that dynamic is not working. So what it means is that the system is broken, and it's not broken on his end, because what you've already shown is that from the beginning, you don't consider him a prize until you think it's okay. But he's supposed to chase you, knowing that you already think that he's not a prize and he's not worthy of you yet. Why is he going to keep bending over? He's not worthy
of you
if he hasn't. So why is he going to keep bending over backwards for you if you're showing
I don't think... I think that honestly... He's not worthy until he proves himself.
So why y'all shouldn't
have sex until he proves himself.
You don't have to prove yourself.
But you do.
Y'all are not, but y'all don't, and it shows in action.
Because
it shows in action that you don't think you have to prove yourself.
I'm not even in like an argumentative tone
I'm
about
not
it.
either. What I'm telling you,
you're talking really loud and stuff, and
Yo-sha,
you do this every time. It's really not. It's all I'm saying is you make the first move and you keep it going, and once y'all get into a level where y'all both agree, like she is gonna match your energy. Right. That's how it works. Right. Women shouldn't pursue men either because when women pursue men, it's not well received either. I've tried it both ways. And when I pursued men that didn't like me as much, I ended up getting played or I ended up getting broken up with because they didn't like me.
So what do you think happens to guys then?
The same thing, but right. but traditionally the man should pursue the woman, and there's nothing wrong with that. The woman can give him the same energy and let time tell if the love is going to build or not. That's the dynamic. It's not broken. What's broken is forcing. What's broken is forcing a relationship if there's not a real connection, because you're worried about having sex or you're worried about something superficial that is not going to sustain you guys when real things start to happen. But there's nothing wrong with the man pursuing a woman. You can pursue everything else that you want in life. You can pursue the woman. Why do they say a man who finds a wife finds a good thing? Is because he should find her.
With that because
you can have an issue with it, but it's the truth.
I didn't say it was wrong. What I said was I have an issue with it because she also found a good thing. But the difference is you're never going to speak on her finding the good thing because it's not supposed to be something where he's valued.
But a lot of women do value their good man. They do value their husband. They do value whatever.
What I'm saying is you want him to value you from the very beginning, but you want to choose when you get to value him and start matching energy. And
you don't know. You don't have to value from the beginning. You make the first move. You make the first move.
There's nothing wrong with you making the first move.
Before that point, you make the first move, and based on how that interaction goes, you both can decide if y'all want to continue to converse with each other. If you like the conversation, you continue to make the move. She'll continue to respond. Vice versa. If she likes you, she'll probably start hitting you up first. But it starts with you making the first move because you're the one driving the ship. The first few moves, there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that she doesn't value you. You don't even know her yet to value her.
Right, but you're expected to keep making those moves.
You make the move because you are interested.
Right, so what is she?
She might not be interested in you yet. She's learning you.
So why is he making moves? He's learning her too, but he's expecting to make first move.
Because you're the guy. And that's not problematic. Like you said, you can still keep your options open and talk to other women.
But that's the thing. Yes,
you can still keep your options open and talk to other women.
Most of them don't want options open
until you figure out which one you like. But the thing is, realistically, if you're trying to pursue and find a wife, yeah, you can talk to a few different women at once. But at some point, when y'all get to a point of a real connection, you're not going to want to talk to all the different women.
How do you know it's a... Never mind.
How did you know it was a real connection with me?
Because it took a minute, but you also
a minute.
Right, but
time.
Wait. Because I wasn't finished. Give me a second.
Whether you finished or not, you keep on trying to pretend like you don't understand.
I understand
how it works. Like it's so corrupt. There's nothing corrupt about what I'm saying.
What I'm trying to tell you is why women keep running to these guys that do this is because of that system and the thing that guys don't.
It's not about the system.
Okay. Okay, so I'm a guy and I don't talk to other guys, so I don't know.
It's not about if you talk to other guys. It's about the fact that we followed the same system and we got married.
Right, but you also followed the same system as it worked for me and you. And the difference is you were doing things that you didn't think, oh, I'm not doing extra, but you were, and it worked. It was not, it's always been that way in relationships. I keep saying that. For me, anyway, you showed same energy from first conversation and kept same energy until end. It wasn't just all me and it wasn't just all you. It was equal energy. It was mutual energy. All I'm saying is that guys don't always want to have to be the one putting out extra energy.
Couple to Love says because you're the head and you're supposed to lead.
Right, but the earlier conversation that we were having about the guy being the head, and you and I have had this conversation with
And
other
and
couples.
that's a good point.
Most guys are
You
not,
are the head, and you are
but
supposed to leave, and we're supposed to submit
but y'all
to
don't.
you. So
But most women don't.
if you don't make the first step, then I'm not gonna pursue you.
But most women don't submit and fall in
And
line,
that's also the
and that's
reason,
a problem.
why it doesn't work when we try to pursue y'all, because it's not our job. When we try to pursue you initially, we're supposed to be taking your lead.
But most of the time, y'all.
If you did not want us to pursue you because you wanted to do it first, or you're not interested, it's not going to result in our favor, because you didn't ask us to submit to you. You didn't ask us to come with you. You didn't ask us out on that date. You didn't want to go on a date. Now you're using the free food because you like, Shawty asked me out, but I don't really like her like that. I mean,
Right.
she
So now
cool or
that
whatever.
now you get to realize the other side of why guys do certain things that they do. It creates a better clarity.
It's fine to say all that, but the point is, when you get to who you're really gonna settle down with, I think the man will have to take a lead.
Right. And the woman will have to fall in
a lot of
line.
issues that occur after that is when the man stops taking the lead
No.
in some ways.
No, it doesn't. What
Because
happens?
it makes the dynamic
No,
difficult,
it's not
because
that
you're not doing what you thought
but
that
it's,
they're supposed to do.
but it's not the fact that he stops taking the lead. He stops leading in the way you want him to. Just because he stops just because he stops doing it the way you want to, don't mean that he stopped taking the lead. You're basically saying that if you don't do it my way, I'm not going to be happy, and it's not satisfactory. That doesn't mean he stopped taking the lead. Never. You can change your leadership style. Don't mean you're not in the lead, and that's the problem. You want him to lead the way you want him to lead, and that's not the way leadership works. If you're saying you're falling in line, then you're falling in line.
I think for a relationship, it just takes effort on both sides to want to make the other person happy. I don't feel like the woman should not try to make her boyfriend or significant other happy, but I do think that there needs to be some sort of lead taken by the guy in pursuing that relationship and making it clear.
It's fine if you take the lead, but leading another person also requires the other person to follow. And follow your lead, not the way they want to be led.
Honestly, this conversation doesn't even really relate to the advice that we were given anyway, because his direction was that he wasn't looking for a relationship. So at that point, I would have probably, well, I can't say what I would probably do, because I've been in the same situation that she's been in.
Actually, it lines up exactly with what we're saying.
For a relationship, both ends have to be 50-50 and be loyal no matter what. And something is wrong should be told to be fixed no matter what the situation.
Right. It has to be equal on both sides.
But it's not going to be equal on both sides.
Why not?
There's so many factors of why it wouldn't be equal.
Why not? See, and that's the thing. It can definitely be equal. It's just that somebody wants a convenience.
Things are not equal.
Right, but that's the problem too, is that you want him to lead, but you don't want to follow the lead. Because you want him to lead the way that feels comfortable to you. But that's not leading. That's partnership. That's 50-50. But that's not what you want. You want to be in control, but then not have to do other certain things that are traditionally for him to do. You don't want him to have his full role, because you want to have the piece of the role that makes you feel good. But you want him to do the other stuff that also makes you feel good. That's what I'm saying. You want to sit up here and determine where you go. Oh, well, I don't like this. I want this. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. But, oh, by the way, please lead. You can't follow and demand and then be like, oh, well, you're not leading the right way. No, he's leading in the way that works for him, as he thinks it'll work for both of you all. But if you want to lead, that means once you take over that lead in that position, everything that comes with that position in leading falls to you.
I have a headache, y'all. I'm about to get ready to go to sleep. And it looks like mostly everybody dropped off. Thank you. Are you raising your hand or are you waving goodbye? Your emoji is cute. It's almost 10 o'clock your time, and it's almost 1 o'clock my time, and I have to work in the morning. Um, Thank y'all for having such a good discussion, a deep discussion. I guess we can continue it later this week. I'll definitely keep you all in my prayers, and y'all say a prayer for me too if y'all are going to be praying tonight. Um, it's honestly, Florence, I do think that everything is going to work out for the best no matter what. And I just hope that everything that's going on, you could try to find some sort of positive in it, whether it's just looking at Summer and seeing her smile at you, you know. Yeah, I do. I agree with that. I do feel like both people have to be willing to compromise and sacrifice. That's a good point. Because if not, it becomes really one sided, and you start to feel like your needs don't matter to your significant other. Only their needs matter. So I think that compromise is very important, and understanding that you're not going to always um, win in every situation. Like sometimes the compromise will mean that you don't get what you want out of it. And in the same token, that your significant other should also do the same for you. Like if something is really important, look at the bigger picture for the solution and not just choose what's beneficial to them. And I think that kind of goes into what he was saying. I'd rather be in a relationship where the man takes the lead, but where are you leading us to? And are you thinking about the both of us when you make decisions? Florence, I can relate to that feeling as well. I think part of the issue is not that we don't want our men to take the lead, but sometimes their decisions aren't always both of you focused, and it can come off as like not, or sometimes they don't make the right decisions in leading, and it affects the both of you. And so then you start to feel like he doesn't know how to lead, and it makes you not trust him and allow him. But what I did hear another YouTuber that does like married life content say is that at some point you have to allow him to lead and make those mistakes,
Because that's how you learn
because
how to
that's
lead.
how he will learn how to lead, and try to be there and let him make the mistake without making him feel bad about it, because that might make him shut down and not want to include you going forward. So, from a woman's perspective, I definitely understand that when they make the mistakes, um, it makes you not trust their judgment. Or when they're selfish, because men can be selfish in some ways because they don't, especially like in certain ways, like they think of self versus family at times, in their choices. So it's like that's where trust comes in at too. Like if you don't trust your partner fully because of things that they might have said or done, it makes it hard for you to trust their ability to lead. But it's necessary in order for him to be able to lead you, and he's not gonna always get it right. Just like you don't know necessarily how to be the perfect girlfriend or wife, he doesn't always know how to be the perfect husband. So it's like a learning thing. There's no handbook for it, you know? So, I mean, y'all, we can continue talking about this. You're welcome. Anytime. I enjoy these real discussions, y'all. I think that's what brings value to what I'm doing here. So I am about to go for real this time because I am tired. But hopefully y'all get some rest tonight. Pray. Don't go to bed angry. And I pray that your daughter is pandemic free. That ain't the right word. Illness free. I'm just gonna say I pray that she's illness free and that y'all both get back to full health and feeling good again, because I want y'all to be feeling at your best potential. Hey, Shawan. Good night. Y'all have a good night. I'm going to talk with y'all this weekend, okay? Bye.